Good morning, everybody. I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is going to be about when helping is not helping and when it is. You know, oftentimes these topics originate from when I have a few clients that are having the same struggles, and I find a common theme in the struggles. So I decide to share that with you too, because if they, it's something that comes from, it's a unified thing, and that's what I try to do here on this channel, is unify everybody. So I hope that this video and this topic will be helpful, and like I said, please hit the like and subscribe button below. But before we get started, I want to remind you that I'm not a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, any of those things. So if you're new to this channel, you need to know that. Okay, but what I am is a life coach, and I have a web page called stacyforlife.com. And on this webpage, there is a description of the services that I provide as a life coach dealing with addiction, codependency, and grief, but not exclusively to those things. Not everyone is addicted, codependent, or have grief that I deal with, but most everybody has some kind of grief, right? But really, underneath all of that is a desire for healing and healthy relationships, as well as development of spiritual and soul consciousness. Really, it's about getting in alignment. So if you didn't see last week's video, please go back and watch it. It's about getting into alignment. But if you or anyone you know need help in any of those areas, please feel free to look me up at stacyforlife.com. Okay? All right, so let's get into our topic today. Before we get into the topic, though, I want to welcome you back. If you consistently visit this channel on a weekly basis, like I said, and share these videos and what have you, I do love and appreciate you. And thank you once again. So we're going to look at when helping is not helping. Let me get my glasses. Now, there are three major things I want to go over in this video today. And either of these could be helping or not helping. See, one is, when we help or don't help, we help a person practice and develop their own relationship with their higher power that allows them to bring the courage forth. Is that we're just not throwing in the lifesaver thing, and then two, they learn their own talents through this. So if we help or don't help, they're going to learn their own talents, because we have to know when to help and not to help, right? Okay, and then three is they learn to build their esteem from overcoming. They learn perseverance. See, they can't learn perseverance if we keep throwing the life singer out or the dinghy out, and every time they scream. We just can't. But there are times when we can. So let's look at that. I watched videos on this myself, and I've done other videos on codependency and, how we can treat adults like children and all of this. So I encourage you to go back through that catalog and check those out. Now, there'll probably be a few pop up at the end of this video. So please watch this video all the way through. But I watched a video by Teal Swan. I like the way she presents her videos, and what she said about when to help and not to help is that our faith is their faith. So sometimes when we're helping, our faith is their faith. But sometimes when we don't help, our faith is their faith. Because sometimes we have to have faith in them to be able to practice and develop their own relationship with a higher power. We cannot impose. We can, but it may not be helpful to impose our relationship with our higher power on somebody else. All we can do is walk the walk, And then they get to learn through their own talents, you see, because when we help somebody, we can't control the outcome of helping somebody. They get to learn their own talents and strengths. And then three, they build esteem from that overcome and using that strength to overcome, you see, because even when I work in recovery with step work, I can't do the step work for somebody. I can only encourage them to do the step work. But as they do that step work, they practice and develop a relationship with their self. So, our faith is their faith. And then when is helping enabling? We just talked about that. This is what happens when we enable. When we enable, we take away the opportunity for the person to learn, A, to grow a relationship with the universe, God or source, And we teach people that we are instead their source. We don't want to teach people we are their source. And we also show a lack of faith in the person to grow their struggle muscles, because we have to grow our struggle muscles. I've grown my struggle muscles, and I've also received help from people. So when we do help, it is when a person has exhausted their struggle muscles. This is when people have come up with a plan, they're trying to execute the plan, put it into action, and they've done some work. You've seen them overcome other things, and they have the plan, and you trust that they have a plan, and that you are not going to be the plan, So we have what we need and want, and we see them succeed, and we have faith that they can due to the previous success and goal setting. Because we all get by with a little help from our friends and family. I tell you, they've saved my ass plenty. But they see me struggling. They see the struggle is real, and it's not about applying myself to the same problems. It's not the insanity, because sometimes we get into insanity where we keep doing the same thing expecting different results. So this is when we have to develop our struggle muscles and learn that there's another way to look at this, get another thought and perspective on this. So 2, when we solve the problem, we cripple the person of learning how to, and it takes away from their self-esteem. And to develop that self-esteem, because it's practice and development, we are continually growing our self-esteem. And self-esteem is not ego. Self-esteem is what we gain to know that we can overcome. So it's not about ego and to, just do this. It's to know what we can do to overcome. And this is a humility that we gain in self-esteem, is that once we are able to overcome things, we're able to help others. See, then we know how to help others, and when to help others is when we overcome these things. It is good to let people know that we believe in them and have faith in their problem-solving abilities and their skills, and that we look forward to seeing their journey. See, because when people are struggling, it's not good to judge people who are struggling. We can pray for people who are struggling. That's a better and a divine energy to uplift them. And if you're not a praying person, you can still say, I have no opinions or thoughts on this, because you don't know their struggle. Everybody's struggling with something, and we can just choose not to have a judgment. But oftentimes I think people feel guilty when they can't help somebody, so they tend to want to judge. So ask yourself, do you feel guilty? Is there a part of me that feels guilty that I can't help somebody right now? Or can I just uplift that person? Because that is enough. I've had plenty of people uplift me like that too. So 3, allowing someone to overcome gives them their own relationship with Source. You can only interest them in yours if they are interested in learning about yours. They build their esteem through their problem solving. They can't, you just solving their problems doesn't build their esteem. I'm going to share a story here when I had to learn how to ask for help. And through recovery, I learned how to ask for help in many situations. And this is a small story, but I'm going to let you know that it helps people understand. Because as I've said in prior videos, is that a lot of our training comes from our past and our childhood. And I wasn't the perfect mom. There is no perfect parents. We are all just on a journey, and we're learning. We're all learning. And I'm not dismissing bad parents. I'm just so-called bad parents. Everybody, I choose to think everybody's doing the best they can with what they know. So, and sometimes they do know better, but I can't judge. It's not up to me to do any judging. So anyway, the thing is that my daughter, one time when I first became a single mom, someone presented me, as I've stated before, with these Love and Logic CDs, to listen to in the car. So I would listen to these CDs. So my daughter dropped something in the toilet after she peed one time. So she's like, Mommy, I dropped this in the toilet. And, her initial fear was getting chastised for dropping something in the toilet. So she was kind of having a freak out, about dropping it in the toilet. And I was watching TV, and I said to her, well, honey, just get it out. And she's like, but there's pee-pee in there. And I'm like, well, there's some gloves right here. I told her where the gloves were, and you could go put the gloves on and get it out of the toilet, and then wash the gloves off, while they're on your hands after you get it out of the toilet and flush the toilet. And so it was just that simple. There wasn't a big deal about it. So this is the thing in teaching her how to problem solve. As I told her where the gloves were, but I didn't jump up and solve the problem. See, this is what a lot of us do as parents, is we jump up and solve the problem, then bitch about having to solve the problem. But when we teach people how to solve their own problems, and maybe we fell short, maybe we fell short at different times, but it's never too late to correct our mistakes. We talk about amends in the program, whether we're doing a living amends or a verbal amends or action, whatever, the amends that we do, we get to talk to a person and clarify that, because we want to make sure that our amends don't harm other people. So however we choose to do that, but problem solving, it's very important that people learn to problem solve. So again, I have personally gotten help, and I am so grateful. Like I said, just the help of telling her about the gloves. So there's, you tell people, sometimes you can give them the tools. Like I said last week, is that somebody suggested to me, Stacy, what's your niche, and so we don't get defensive when people ask us questions, if we can keep from it, unless we can see that they're asking us questions in a mean spirit. And sometimes people are, So I have personally gotten help, and I'm so grateful. I really am. It let me know that people are good and believe in me. It also let me know that people see the value in me. And it also let me know that I was doing good work, and that Source spoke to the souls. See, they have their own relationship with Source. Sometimes we don't always believe the same way and exactly alike, but they have a source and I have a source, and that source is our vital life force that runs in and through us. It helps us connect, because that's what people crave, is connection, contact, and consciousness. So, but because we all really want to be connected in that consciousness, to have faith, hope, and love, I've helped people too. I usually know they are just in temporary need. I have to have it to give it, and not be attached to what they do with it. So when I give help, I'm not attached to what somebody does with it, and I may ask them, say, before we've taken up money, maybe for somebody to be able to get a GED, maybe somebody needed to do this to empower themselves, and I may ask, were you able to do it? But it's not my business. I'm not going to judge or talk about them poorly or what have you if they do or don't. By the way, they did. And so when someone is doing drugs, these are the ways and the things when you can be enabling people, okay? These are enabling ideas. So when someone is doing drugs, gambling, or in other risky addictions, the money may not go where it's intended to go. So just know this, it's insane to keep helping somebody with these addictions because they're not in their right mind. I know when I was in my addiction, I was not in my right mind. It took a long time to get in my right mind. So helping is not helping if someone is in their addiction and most likely aren't being honest with themselves, and certainly not with us. What I can give to help is compassion. I can tell them where they can get help, but I can't fix them or their situation. That deprives them of learning to cope, to problem solve, and would buy into their helplessness and hopelessness. I want to give them help and hope. I'm sober and I can't help them self-destruct. Okay? 2, in a work situation where managers have taken on the work of employees and not gotten breaks for themselves or pauses for themselves, but also didn't allow the employee to learn to be responsible for their job and allow the manager a much-needed break, and set the business up unknowingly, because no one would purposely do this when they're struggling, trying so hard, for problems should the manager have an emergency. So should the manager have an emergency and the manager is always doing everything to make their branch, their office, their whatever look good, and they don't allow the employees to learn their jobs and to fail, because we all fail to grow, then we, and sometimes we have to practice our conflict and confrontation as managers when this happens, is that we can help somebody, we can empower them or break them down. So it helps us to continue to grow, because that's what we're all doing in this life, is continuing to grow. And 3, love relationships when a person doesn't listen for dialogue, just decides on their own what the other person needs without consult. These can be codependent. As I said, I've done this. I had a guy that I was dating that he used to tell me, Stacy, helping isn't helping. I don't know if I said that in this one or if it was a practice one. But yeah, he used to tell me helping isn't helping. So sometimes, when we work on our codependency, like I have addiction issues, and I haven't used in 24 years, but that doesn't mean I'm not an addict anymore, that I'm not having an addictive personality. I remember that every day. I don't like labels, but I remember every day that I'm an addict, and it keeps me minimized and right-sized to where I don't get this thing going on to where I think that I can do things like see other people drinking a glass of wine and glamorize about that, because that's not something I'm allowed to do. So I get to stay in my spirit and my soul as long as I don't do that. Same with codependence. I work with other people because codependency is the most subtle of the things that I work with, and I'm proud to say that one of the people that I worked with this week, a dear friend and person that I worked with, told me, her son just turned 18, he got his first job, and, I think the first couple of days she fixed his water and his lunch for him, but then now she told him, look, I'm not going to do that this week. We did that last week, but this week I'm not going to fix your lunch. I'm not going to fix your water for your job. I'm not going to do all of this. And, that was good because he's grown now and he can do that for himself. So that's not enabling. That is helping them to gain that confidence and to be able to function as an adult. Because what if we weren't here, just like the manager at the job, is if you're not here, do you want to set these people up to fail? So grown kids, we don't want to do for them what they could do for themselves. It doesn't show them and allow them to grow up and be responsible. It creates something else. So ask yourself, are you helping someone be creative or helping someone create dependency? So with that being said, I hope that this video has been helpful and that if you're helping someone and if you're not. And I hope that I helped you today, because a lot of my errors have been, able to help somebody else that I hope that they've been able to help somebody else. I tell people, and this is, why I think that I do well in my business and all, is that I tell people that I would rather somebody, now I read about the codependency, but until I got into a relationship could I practice what I learned from reading and doing the step work in codependency. You see, because I had to get with that person, everything's in right and divine order if we see it that way. And so that was time for that relationship, for that person to tell me, helping is not helping, Stacy, because there's still that instinct, because our bodies have that reflexive instinct when we grow up in trauma. As I said, helping our kids not to have that trauma. Chances are, that they may have suffered some trauma, and hopefully our intent was that it was less than the trauma that we suffered and less than the trauma that our parents suffered. Because I think that's all what we tend to do in our evolution. So once again, I hope that this has been helpful, and I thank you, for your time and for watching this video and sharing it if you think it will help somebody else. And I look forward to connecting with you again next week. And as always, you can reach out to me. I have 2 email addresses. If you would like to support this channel and donate, there's Stacy Reinick, I think it goes this way, stacyreinick@gmail.com from PayPal. I'm about to set up a Zelle. And then also you can share the video, or if you have ideas for topics and stuff, you can also do it to stacyreneeforlife@gmail.com. So if you have a topic or you have a desire, you need some help, as always, I offer to give you all 30 minutes of my time if you email me. I can't fix your life in 30 minutes. I can't fix anybody's life at all. You can just, I can help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. And so I can help you with that, to just get centered in 30 minutes. I know that a lot of people are struggling out there, and it's my desire that we all unify, and I try to walk the walk myself. And I'd like to help somebody for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I can tell if you just want to vent to me or if you sincerely desire help, most likely. So feel free, if you sincerely desire help and you're just feeling overwhelmed and you just need something to focus on for the moment, because we can only do one thing at a time, one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. Okay? So I wish you much peace and love, and I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Thank you so much once again for your time. Bye.